Hello. I think I should probably call this an episode of Low Budget Hunting. Uh, I'm going to be adding some video in here while I'm discussing this to you. But anyways, a few years ago had some beavers on my lake, and I thought it was cute. These two beavers. My lake is the top of a spring head, and the spring head is called Towler Creek, and it goes all the way to the Flint River in Georgia. And so I wasn't really concerned when these beavers came up on my property about 3 years ago, because the edges of my lake had a bunch of little trees growing, and I was going to cut them down so I could fish all the way around the lake. The beavers were just starting to do it on their own, and I thought it was really cool. And at the time, my nice spring-filled lake, it's 20 feet deep, by the way. It was made into a valley, and actually if you guys watch my low-budget shooting videos, you'll see that I shoot into the back of the dam for it. The beavers, anyways, had this beautiful, nice, clear, it was like what I call Blackwater Lake, and I got big bass in it, and I had nice kelp beds and all this stuff. Well, I got to tell you, within the first year, the beavers ate all of the kelp beds, which at first I wasn't really bothered about it because, you know, sometimes lures got caught in it and they were kind of a pain in the neck. And then they started doing their job, cutting down all the trees around the lake, the little trees that were only about this round. And I thought those were kind of cool, you know, they were gone, so now I could fish all around the lake. And the next thing they did is they ran out of those trees and they decided to start cutting down the big trees. And this was about a year and a half into it, and that was kind of making me mad. But they were sweet gums, and I didn't really care because nobody likes sweet gums. I'd cut those up and use them for firewood. Well, I got to tell you, this year, it started last year, I noticed it, that the lake was starting to get this green algae, the cyanobacteria algae, and that's not healthy for the lake. So what they had done is, because they took all the kelp out, there was no kelp to help filter out the nutrients. And my wife, we have a horse farm. We have 14 horses around on the 20 acres, and that water runs off of the pastures, you know, into the lake, which because of the nutrients from the manure, and which we do clean up and compost, there's still the urine and all that goes in there. And so all these nutrients are going into the lake. The beavers have taken out all of the kelp, and now the lake isn't looking so much like a Blackwater lake, it's looking like pea soup. And then I'm worried the next step is that my bass are going to start dying. So, decided the beavers got to go. Last Friday night, went out with my 308 suppressed. You guys have seen it on the videos, shooting pumpkins with it and putting on the rifle speed on it. And it's also got a night vision scope on it, and there is my beaver going across the lake, so I popped one of them. I was sad because even though they're big giant rodents, they're cute. Although one of my best friends, the minute I told him I had beavers on the lake, he told me to shoot them right away, get rid of them, they're a pain in the ass. So I got this beaver. Now I decided that I wanted the pelt from this beaver, so I went on YouTube and looked at all these guys up in Canada that hunt beavers and watched all their videos about how they field dressed them, got, you know, the pelt off of it around the legs and everything. Amazing. These guys are amazing. They're like surgeons. But I wanted to show you guys what happens when it's your first one that you've ever done. And let me tell you, here we go. This is my first beaver pelt right here. Now, I'm going to tell you, first of all, I didn't have the skinning knives that they got. I mean, I've got really sharp knives and everything, but to do the initial fleshing off of the pelt, they have a real nice knife. Well, I didn't have a really nice knife, so I used my grandfather's meat cleaver, which is really sharp, and it actually did kind of a good job. But the problem is I started cutting into it, and I got all these big holes in here. That was a problem. So in my research watching this, I noticed the tool that they were using most of the time, because there's different ways that people do this, and I bought one of these. So I'm already going into the black hole of, because I got 2 more beavers to get, and I'm going to try to get the equipment for it. So I bought this that's going to be used for fleshing. I didn't have a big piece of plywood that everybody nails it down to. So I have this 100-year-old barn door that came off of an old shack, and in the spirit of low budget, I use this. But anyways, I'm going to go through it. It's my first pelt. I've got it sprinkled with salt, and it's drying up, and it's pretty much done. I'm about to get all this off, but there's still more I got to take off, and I'm gonna soft tan this, and I bought the stuff for that. Now, let me show you something else that I made in the spirit of low budget for this, because I'm just trying to give all you guys the first time that if you go do like I did and watch these videos on YouTube about how to do this, and you think you're gonna make a nice pelt right out of the get-go, I basically butchered this. So let me talk about the cost. I say low budget. Okay, so you could get one of these things from Cabela's for like 29 bucks, but when I looked at all the reviews, everybody's like, it's not sharp and all this stuff. So I actually went and got one called the Necker Knife Model 600, which is on the blade here if it focuses. I got it off of Amazon, and with shipping and everything, this turned out to be 89 bucks. So I'm already in to my first beaver for $90. Let me show you what else I made. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed all these guys using, was this fleshing knife. But the other thing they had was a fleshing post that they put the hides on to do it. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be a problem. Well, I had a 6x6 laying around and an old piece of cedar log, and what I did is I made my own. And then I went and I had some extra wood from the stables that I had made right here. Put that across the back so it don't rock that much. And it's really heavy, and so when I'm fleshing now, I can put it on here and do this. But what I've noticed is this is curved and this 6x6 is not. And as you can see, I'm already shaving wood off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up rounding this off a little bit in order to put the pelt on so that it's more shaped to the curve of this blade. So I made my own, and everything on here was pretty much free because this was left over. That was an old cedar tree I cut down, and that piece in the back. And I got to tell you, it's really solid. I mean, if you can really lean into it and push on it, and it's pretty heavy. I know there's ones that you can buy. I have no clue how much those things cost, but I can tell you that if you're going to get into this for the long haul, you're going to want one of these. You're going to want one of this. Now, here's the interesting thing. Now, these guys who do this for a living, they get a bunch of these pelts, and they trap them, and they use everything. You can get the casters out of them in the back. I'm not going to go into that. You can sell that. But I actually wanted to see, what does a beaver pelt sell for? Because, I mean, right now, this beaver pelt took me almost 2 hours to destroy it like I did. And now these guys, they do it in just a few minutes. But anyways, I got 2 hours into that, and $89 into one of these. And what I'm seeing is the average beaver pelt in an auction sells for like $10 to $12. And I'm like, holy cow, you got to do a lot of these to make a living at it. Anyways, I got 2 more beavers. This is my first one, and we'll be back with my trials and tribulations of beaver pelting.